Hey friends, miss me yet? This is Scott, talking to you from the TownLake Y from beautiful Austin, Texas. I miss y'all dearly. I miss the energy that 50 people, fill our room with, every week. I miss your determination. I miss your focus. I miss so much, all right? But I think most of all, I miss your company. So until our next great adventure together, and it will be the next great adventure, I'm here today just to offer you a template. We can also call it maybe a pathway forward into maintaining something that should be so integral, so important to all of us. That is our commitment to keeping a routine. One of the routines that I always see from all my people here in all my classes, my older adult classes, as well as my gentle fitness class, is again a commitment to keep a routine based on physical activity, which only can translate into just helping us out so much with our mindsets and our ability to process, to take everything into perspective, to move forward, all right, into a climate and environment that we have all taken for granted, but we all want to dearly return to. I kind of look at things in terms of this as a business. There's an expression, business as usual. Right now, I kind of feel that it really ought to be business as it needs to be. And for me, business as it needs to be needs that we need to just kind of support one another. We have to continue moving forward in a way where we can help guide. We can just work with one another towards reaching solutions. That's all I want to do today. Again, it's a template into the 3 key principles that our time together has always been based on. We're going to be looking over the next 20 minutes through our strength routine. We're going to focus on our ability to coordinate our movements using balance. Finally, we're going to also work through some flexibility. Let's get started, all right? Just going to do the best you can. As always, let's have fun. Again, until our next great adventure, let's move it. Let's just start out with just a gentle shoulder shrug up. Why don't we just also include some deeper breathing throughout, and our ability, of course, just to bring the shoulders forward. We're going to work essentially from the neck and the shoulders down. Why don't we take a second? It stands to reason that many of us right now are dealing with a certain level of stress, a certain level of anxiety. So let the neck just kind of go from side to side and just relax it a little bit. From there, let us just work with just bringing one foot forward. We're just going to go towards the bottom for a moment. Let's wake our ankles up a little bit, giving it a little bit of mobility. Let's get the other one. As I said, I do teach 2 classes, so what I really would like to attempt here as I go through the different movement screens, with 2 classes, there's a lot of modifications that we can adapt here, including in that is a chair. You're at home, all right? On that basis, some people may not have weights. Where I can here during our class, I'm going to try and offer different types of modifications if you don't have weights. If you do have certain hesitancies with respect to balance, there's always a chair, and you can always use the chair to either work behind the chair or certainly to work it on one side. So once again, let's just take a moment, all right? We are just going to start out with a little bit of a movement screen as we always do. We'll start out, I'm going to bring the weights up here, just opposite my chin. We're going to work out, okay? We're going to work our leg. It's going to abduct out of the way. I'll do my best to keep my weights just below my chin so you can see my ugly face. All right. We're just going from an abduction movement. Let's bring it and let's work towards with a rhythm in terms of moving the leg forward, bringing it back. How many reps should we be doing? I've always felt that reps are subject, right, to somebody's mindset. their current level of fitness. I only want to offer a guideline. A minimum of 6 to 8 would be great. A range of 10 to 12 would be great. Sure, it would be better. If you can, with certain movements, let's try and work within a 12 to 15 type of rep. Let's go to the other leg. We are going to abduct it. For purposes of just filming this class, I am going to just downgrade and simply just work with 5. I'm going to bring this foot forward, want to bring it back. Work it forward, work it back, work it forward, work it back. One more time forward, and just retreating back. Very good. Take a second, shrug out. One of the key issues in terms of you doing this in the comfort of your own home, you can certainly pace yourself differently. I also want to recommend that if you do want to try certain things differently, you're home. Take your shoes off, take your socks off. See how it works out. It's a different tactile feeling as we now work into, let's say, heel lifts. And wearing shoes, quite often though, I work with clients, we take our shoes off, and it does make a difference sometimes in an individual with respect to balance. 2 more heel lifts. 1, 2, very nice. Let's bring our legs a little bit more than hip distance apart. We're going to just work with the weights for a moment through 5 squats. Working slowly, allowing our glutes to ease back, keeping our shoulder blades back. Sometimes that's why I find holding a weight in front is a really big help in that regard. Let's just work with some high knee marching in place. Everything I have been doing, we could either start out with weights, or we could simply put the weights down until we have established a rhythm with each movement pattern. 10 more seconds of a high knee march. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. I'm going to work with a single leg butt kick. One more time on one side, getting the other side again. Trying to really just work my heel towards my glutes. A butt kick. One more. And we're good. Very good. Once again, just take a shrug. Take a moment. Very good. I'm going to use the weights one more time. My legs again, they're about hip distance apart. We're just going to go from the squat that we just worked with. We're going to work towards a side lunge. The ability again just to work, creating the lunge, your body mass going from one side, beautiful, to the other. Return, work the other side. Awesome job, everyone. Good. Keep it going, keep your focus going. Very nice. Very good. We're going to go from the movement screen we've just done, where we worked with leg abduction, we worked with our legs going forward, we worked with our legs going back. We've included things like heel lifts. Let's just work with a little bit of coordination and balance. I'm going to face this way. I will take my right foot. I essentially want to just create a scissor effect. I want to create my own personal environment where it's a bit unstable, and it's going to allow me to really focus a little bit more on my balance. We'll work through 3 different exercise movements. For the purposes of this taping, each one is only going to be 8 reps. All right, the number of reps, again, I'm going to let you dictate. Based on your level of fitness, based on your commitment to always improving, always challenging yourself. Let's get this going, all right? 8 times is a lateral movement. The first 4, I'm going to keep my wrists nice and straight. My chest is out, my back is nice and tall. These last 4, though, I do want to get my wrists involved. Any way that will work for you. 2 more, again, just working the wrist. Very good. I'm gonna, one more time, I'm gonna catch my breath, I'll shrug my shoulders, bring them back, stay nice and loose, and let's hit the second movement, which is going to be 8 hammer curls. A weight range, all right, in terms of the types of weights that you've been using. In class, I'm always going to offer the suggestion that you essentially have 2. You've got your attainable, your lightweight load, and you have another load that's a little bit more challenging that may allow you to push your envelope a little bit more, challenge yourself a bit more. We've done 2 movements thus far. We started out with a lateral side raise. We just completed a hammer curl. Movement number 3 is just going to bring us into an overhead extension. I'm going to work through deeper breathing, and I'm also going to slow down my pace. Part of my objective is certainly to bring the weights above my head, but again, we started this whole thing out within a scissor movement, okay? Come this way. I had my left leg forward, facing this way now. I'm going to take it to the right side. On the right side, though, I am going to bring this knee forward a bit. I'm going to isolate my triceps here. And again, it offers me an opportunity where I can inject some breathing, combine breathing with the movement, with the balance. Last one, very good. Let me come back. Let me again find my balance, shrug my shoulders out. Movement number 2, again, has us working above our heads. 2 weights above the head. Continuing moving with your breathing, getting it done, reaching for the ceiling, very good. Movement number 3, again, this is just going to be for 8 repetitions. We did a hammer curl. Let's shift our movement into an open palm curl. Last 5, keep it going for 1, keep it going for 2, keep it going for 3, keep it going for 4, keep it going for 5. Very nice, well done. All right, so we've just finished somewhat of an abbreviated version of introducing again various movement screens. Certainly cardio, the ability just to kind of run in place should always be at the heart of this, just to get the most important muscle, your heart, pumping a bit. Okay? Naturally, we can include things such as jumping jacks. But again, in terms of an opening sequence, this is going to be abbreviated, somewhat edited, but my class knows that I essentially put them first through several minutes of cardio. That does include running in place. Having said that, we are going to switch our game. We're going to switch modalities. We are going to introduce what I think a lot of people enjoy. My class is typically broken down into three dynamics. The cardio, the ability to balance and coordinate. We're now going to work on the mat in terms of using the mat for various reasons to accomplish various goals. A lot of people have a yoga mat, which is great. If you do not have a yoga mat, you can just simply work on a softer surface, such as a rug, such as a carpet. Something that essentially would protect your knees. What I'm about to demonstrate may not be for everyone, especially if you have knees that can't take perhaps more than a minute of a weight-bearing dynamic on a mat. Anyways, come join me here on the mat. We're going to start out working on the mat with a coordination movement. Put your weights off to the side, get them out of the way. And on the mat, I'm essentially just going to have everybody line up the hands with your knee on both sides. So I'm in what I would consider to be a fairly neutral position. And one of the things that I really do enjoy, beginning here on the mat, is something called opposite arm, opposite leg. Some people do refer to this as a bird dog. I refer to it as just a wonderful movement that allows me to really harness my core, allows me to work with my ability to balance. So I just finished working with a few repetitions on my right arm and my left leg. Let me take it over to the other side. My other side is not as good as the right arm, left leg, which really gives me the opportunity to say that I'm probably no different than many other people. I think that we have greater control over a movement on one side versus another. So it's worth at least putting it out there. This is my bad side, okay? On my left arm and my right leg, specifically bringing my right knee. So far, not so bad. Let me finish with 3 more, and hopefully you can just see what I'm doing. I'm looking to drive my knee forward. Again, I really want to connect with my ability to use my core. Very good. Let's go from there. Work with a bit of extension, stealing the yoga phrase, the cobra, and just allowing our backs to extend a bit. From cobra, I'm going to come into child's pose. One tip in child's pose, if it's new for you, just widen your knees even further, and over time, it's an awesome way just to work with flexibility. Let's get the dreaded push-up out of the way. The push-up should be anything but dreaded. The push-up is go in terms of your fitness plan, specifically in terms of using your body weight. Anytime you can use your body weight, that's a very optimal way, it's a very successful way to drive your fitness further and faster. So a push-up, all right? Naturally, there are so many variations within a class. It's not uncommon to see people working the push-up like this, all right? So you're kind of on the inside of your knees, crossing your ankles over, and again, just the ability to work your pectoral, to work your chest area. Certainly a much more traditional push-up is going to have us with our hands spaced and just bringing our elbows down. I'm going to come out of the push-up just to work into a series of planks that I believe my class really enjoys doing. The plank is an awesome way to, again, incorporate your core and to create a stronger, bigger back. Stronger back. Holding a straight arm plank for about 30 seconds, coming out of the plank onto your knees, and it's always a nice idea just to work into child's pose. So, people, we have just worked through a straight arm plank. After the straight arm plank, we essentially recovered by bringing our glutes towards the back, trying to connect them with our heels to work in, to use another yoga terminology, child's pose, namaste, okay? Very nice, comforting, fun pose to hold for 30 seconds or so. The second plane that we are accustomed to working with, it's called a prone isolated plank. And again, just to demonstrate, I'm purposely keeping my feet off this mat, essentially to address things like slipping. If you feel that you are losing your form at any time in the plank, just come out of the plank if it's an issue, okay? What I did not demonstrate in a straight arm plank, but I can easily demonstrate it here, for those of us that, again, want to look at ways that we can just challenge ourselves there's a couple of options in terms of utilizing our legs. One thing about the plank, you don't really find this much in a straight arm plank, but my form on this plank. I really don't want to see something like this. Even worse than that is sway back or something such as this. Be strong in the plank. They only become easier the more that you do them, if you're willing just to, again, give them a try. So, one more time, let me come out of that prone plank, which I assume was probably about 30 seconds or so, and just come out of that. Once again, let me just bring my shoulders up and bring them back. How long should you be holding a plank? It's always dependent upon your own level of proficiency with a movement like a plank. But again, let's be very direct. It also has to do with any pre-existing conditions you may bring into the picture, all right? So I do need you just to work with the realization that they take time. They really do pay off, though, planks. Anyway, let's go from a plank and let's work just for a quick moment, okay? We're going to work on one knee, and we are going to utilize one weight. So what I've got going on here, I am on my right foot. I've extended my right knee. And again, I just want to look for the most optimal position, all right? I'm pretty comfortable with this. I would not do well with that. And it's the same thing. I'm not going to do well like that. So, searching for, finding what, again, is an optimal position. So here's just, again, without any weights initially, this is just a nice way to do two things. Just to introduce a little bit of balance via a torso twisting. And again, just to build on that, if you do want to work with your balance, this is simply another way to do it. My back should be nice and tall. My chest, again, should be nice and out and proud in the crowd. But I do have us here for a very specific reason, and that is essentially just to allow our hip flexors the opportunity just to stretch. Okay? In what should be a fairly safe fashion. This is really regarded as more of a static type of stretch, okay, versus a dynamic stretch, such as a jumping type of movement. I'm just going to hold this stretch towards its apex for several seconds. I'll simply repeat this 2 to 3 times. And again, I'm just allowing my left hip just to open up. And finally, if you'd like to, you can just bring both arms to one side. It's a nice way to stretch. It's an awesome way to, again, allow your hip flexor to open up. In my class, we are all about multitasking. So I'll have us start with one weight, and we are just going to address, for a brief moment, once again, 2 important factors. Our balance and our ability to multitask and lift. I've got my right knee up, I've got my left knee down. Let me find my balance. And again, I'm just going to work here with a single weight. Let me work through 8 reps of an overhead extension. I want your body to be as nice and straight. I want your mind to be as focused as can be. Let's bring this into number 2. The lateral lift is really kind of forcing my body certainly to want to go in one direction. So be careful with the weight load that you are going to work with. This is just an ability, again, to balance. Let's close this out. I'll bring my hand on my hip. Let's close this out with just 8 forward raises. The first 4 I'm going to work with are just going to be opposite my eye. The last 4, if you're able to, without using momentum, see if you can bring your shoulder above your head and kind of match it up with your ears. 2, Last 2. 3. And please, people, don't forget to breathe. Good. I'm going to stop there, okay? Just to give you an idea, instead of going to the other side. Again, there's a whole multitude of things that you can accomplish working just on one foot, okay? Or at least in terms of working and again addressing, your hip. Okay. Let's work through a strength movement that I find to be very popular. People really enjoy it because I give variations, suggestions, ideas on how we can both integrate a strength movement with kind of recruiting our core a bit more. So I'm going to have everybody just basically lay down. Everybody knows how to lay down. And I'm going to start here, okay? We're going to essentially work with 2 strength movements. The first being a standard pec fly, where I'm keeping a little bit of a bend through my elbow. I'm looking straight up at the ceiling. I'm not utilizing my neck here, nor should I be. My neck, your neck, it's very precious. We need to take care of it. You need to be really careful in exercising caution in any type of movement ever through your neck. So again, right now, everything's neutral, but here's a suggestion or a challenge on how we can recruit a little bit of core movement into a very traditional pec fly. Let me work with 2 more. So the option to either raising your feet, your legs, or not is totally yours. That same philosophy should certainly apply now to the traditional chest press. The chest press is where the heads of the weight are going to come up. They'll make a little bit of contact. I am never going to bring my elbows way down. I am just simply going to work my pectorals in a fashion that both the pec fly and the traditional chest press, albeit very slightly, but both represent, again, for working with a strength movement, as well using our legs to come up and thereby recruiting a little bit of core magic. People, let us stay on our backs. Let us work into what I personally love, and that is now going to be working through some bridges. What is a bridge? A bridge is an opportunity, an awesome opportunity to begin to integrate, to work with the relationship between our hamstrings and our glutes. That ever precious attachment that for a lot of us has seen better days, all right? But with a bridge, and by bringing your heels close in and starting to come up, now what's involved here? As I'm coming up, I am breathing, even though I'm talking. I am contracting my glutes. I'm not going to look at my knees, but I don't want to see that. My knees out apart. Certainly don't want to see that. I just want to see my knees work in a straight fashion. In my class, we work through variations of a bridge. This is one of our favorites. It's the ability to multitask. And again, that ability to work with our arms above our heads. But again, that is secondary to your own ability to really contract through those glutes, bring it up to the air, hold it here. That's another thing we do. We can hold this for several seconds before releasing the contraction. Let me just work finally into a little bit of flexibility and some of the favorite stretches that we've come to work with. We'll start out by just using the borders of the mat, okay? Just basically more or less a simple sit and reach. But again, doing this, in various ways, if anything, to relieve any boredom and to, again, tap into your own creativity. Is it okay to bend my knees here slightly? Absolutely, absolutely. Flexibility is an ever-changing component, I think, of our daily lives. The more time and attention you give to it, the more the payoff is definitely going to be there. So yes, you can. If you have to, certainly. If you do not have to, that's just as good as well. Let's work through some stretching, okay? Let me come here. I'm going to come on my right side. I'm going to slightly bend my lower leg. I'm just going to leave it slightly bent, fully relaxed. And I will straighten that top leg. Let me at least start off here with working through just a very nice quadricep stretch. All I'm doing is grabbing my heel. And again, a common mistake you find in a quad stretch, people think that this is acceptable. And even worse than that, they think that, you know what, if I really pull this back, that's only going to help the stretch. No, it's not. That's only going to damage your patella. You really just want to keep one leg and just pull up from your ankle. Just keep one leg next to the other leg. All right, so coming out of a quad stretch, once again, let's just take a quick moment just to focus on our knee. Now, I'm on my side. I need for my hips to face you versus my hips facing back. Adjust your hips. They need to be forward. You can either place a hand on your hip. Sometimes it's better to stabilize yourself if you'll just place your hand just in front of the other hand. Let's get this going. Let's take our hip on a nice east-west swing. There you go. This is something, again, you can do 30 seconds, 45 seconds. It's really a nice thing just to work through a simple range of motion. Again, bring my leg east-west. Let me stop and let's change the direct trajectory of where we're going. How many times should I do this? This is something that, again, you ought to be working anywhere between 10 to 15, all right? Just allowing, again, your leg to move with a freedom of movement, okay? Finally, let's return to our back. Let's see if we can just work with a nice manual stretch. What I'm trying to work with here is just taking both hands. Certainly if I bring my neck up, again, I can reach further. Really don't want to do that. I really don't have to do that. All right? I can just basically target, behind the knee. And again, here too, it's okay to bend your legs slightly. So to summarize, we have worked with a quadricep stretch. We went through some leg swinging in two important directions, and we went to a hamstring stretch. Let me work with my favorite stretch. I'm taking my left leg. I'm going to take my right hand. I'm placing my right hand on the outer part of my left knee. I'm going to begin to swing this leg. I want to do my best to keep my knee and my leg, my quadricep, fairly parallel. What am I doing with that free hand? That free hand, that free arm is so important in really allowing you to really leverage and to really make the most of this wonderful stretch. We've done at least 3 or more things in addressing our hip, and this stretch is quite good to remedy a lot of what we have done. Conversely, and I'm only going to use this on a single leg basis, you can take the outer arm and what is typically referred to as a butterfly stretch, or it may make more sense just to put my soles of my feet together. And I can manipulate this stretch a little bit. I can reach for my inner thighs, and I can really get the stretch going. From there, This is something else that we do work with in class, working with our knee, bringing our knee up with the assistance of one or both hands. And finally, you can work at your own pace, certainly from the comfort of your own home and working with one knee or two knees. But I would like us to, again, do what we do in class, which is just trying to establish a little bit of rolling. There you go. I think we've covered a lot. Again, this has been somewhat edited, will be edited. The purpose in a nutshell was to, just offer a template of continuing something that should be most integral, most paramount to all of us. And that is the ability to continue a routine. It's just one small way you can keep your head, together. And right now, that's something that I think that we can all use. I'm Scott. I said at the onset, I miss everybody. I do look forward with optimism, with hope, to our next great adventure together. All I ask is that you adapt some of what we've done, or you do your thing, but continue to keep moving forward. Thank you, everyone.